Hey guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to share with you guys something that I have been working on for a little while, and I'm going to share with you my findings, what I've figured out so far. And of course you remember, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, when I was making the conservatory, and on the inside of the conservatory, I had lined the little gables with the scrapbook paper. And of course I knew that inside the conservatory, it was going to be getting a little damp. There are vents in the conservatory, so it doesn't shut up like totally, you know, tight like a drum. So there are vents in it. I'll show you guys here in just a little second, so you can see how the conservatory is doing. But I wanted to be able to seal that paper because I knew that there was going to be humidity in there, right? And you know, you can't use Mod Podge and stuff like that, so because it's water-based. And I don't know, I was just thinking about that, and I was also thinking about maybe like substances or something that you could use to seal other things, other paper type objects, whether it's, you know, on the cover of a book or some artwork or a greeting card or whatever it is, and you want it to be kind of protected, but you don't want to slather on the Mod Podge, right? So I happened to notice that my husband had a can of furniture finishing wax. He made me a coffee table, and this coffee table, he waxed the boards on top. And so this was sitting in there. It's lovely, right? It's just a min waxed paste finishing wax, and it's in a natural, which means it's basically clear. There are several kinds of companies that make a finishing wax. And what it's for, it's to, you know, some people use it like on butcher blocks. They use it on furniture. A lot of people that do like decorative painting, like they'll take an old piece of furniture and that's all wrecked and they paint it, and then they put a finishing wax over the top and kind of buff it. So I got this, and then I got out just some regular, this is just some generic Vaseline. That's all it is, from the dollar store. Just no big deal. And what I did was I took a spatula. If I can find, oh, here it is. Let me make sure that this has not got anything on it, because I was stirring something else a minute ago. Okay. So I just got like a little craft stick, and this stuff is about the consistency of oh, I don't know, it's pasty. It's pasty. It's kind of a pale peach color. Anyway, I got some about, I don't know, about a tablespoon, maybe tablespoon. About like that. And then I took the petroleum jelly, and I don't have any more craft sticks here. There we go. And I took about, maybe a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. So we're talking 3 parts of the wax to about 1 to 1.5 parts of the petroleum jelly. And your mileage may vary here because depending on the brand of wax that you get, I think petroleum jelly is pretty much similar across the board, but the finishing wax may be looser or thicker. So, you know, play with it. Tell me what you think. Anyway, you stir this up just, you know, in this little container. You just kind of smoosh it together. It's not gonna get perfectly smooth because the wax stays a little grainy, but don't worry about that. Don't even worry about it. Okay, So there we are. It's all pasty. So these are my little containers I'm going to put it in. So I have collected some things to try it out on so I can show you what it looks like. So we've got this little inkjet label that I have stamped on, and I stamped on it with the first B is Distress Oxide. The second B is just an all-purpose ink, just an ink pad, and then the third one was StazOn. So that's gonna be on this guy. This and this, these are just inkjet prints, and so is this, but it's on parchment. So those are just inkjet. This is an old page from a book. We've got just some regular scrapbook paper, and it's the thin stuff, it's not the card. Here is a page from some sheet music, just, you know. This is a page from an old dictionary. So you can see it's yellow. And then we've got some real hand marbled paper. So a painted surface. So anyway, let me spread some of this around. Now, a little FYI here, if you read on the back of this thing, it says don't be huffing it, and it says that, you know, I mean, people use it on furniture and people sit on furniture, but people don't lick furniture. So don't be licking your books or your greeting cards or whatever you put this on. Don't be licking, and don't be huffing. And wear gloves if you're going to be handling it with your hands. I just wanted to FYI that for you. Most people have come into contact with this. You know, most people use it in all kinds of things. Just don't eat it and don't huff it. But I'm just going to use a brush, but you can use gloves. You can use a brush and gloves. So, you know, do what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and paint some on here. And what you do is you just kind of paint it on, or if you have gloves, you kind of just put a little bit on the end of your finger and massage it in like you would be if you were putting on lotion. Okay? And you let that set aside for just a few minutes. You know what I'm going to do? Let me grab a Sharpie. And I am going to, there's the box that I'm going to, that way we can test it out, you know what I mean? So I'm going to paint it inside this box. And I'm going to do that on all of these surfaces. So I'm going to do this on all of these surfaces, and I'll be right back. All right, so you can see I've got little boxes on everything, and this is kind of what it looks like. You see how it kind of sinks in a little bit, and so there's where I haven't done anything, and then it kind of sinks in. And then on the back you can kind of see, because the petroleum is an oil-based product, so anyway. But after it has sat for a little bit on your whatever it is, then take a clean, dry paper toweling, and you just, with a firm hand, you buff it in. And this also removes any excess on the top. And because if you don't buff it, it stays kind of tacky, sticky. But if you buff it, then it buffs to like a sheen, you know, like an eggshell kind of a sheen. Okay. Let's see if I can get you see it barely on there. See that little kind of that coating, kind of a waxy eggshelly coating? Okay, so let's test it out. And by the way, it does work better if you go get a glove and just put a little bit on your finger, because the warmth from your hands helps melt those little wax granules a little bit better. It just gives you some more control than a brush does. So if you want to do that, just FYI. All right, so here's some water. So we're going to test this out. So here is our scrapbook paper, the super, super thin stuff. And as you can see, it kind of darkens it a little bit, maybe makes it a little bit translucent. I don't know. But do you see how it adds a little bit of an extra sheen to it? So this is just scrapbook paper, right? Just plain old scrapbook paper. See how it beads up on it? Doesn't do that over here on this side, does it? Okay, we're just gonna let that sit for a minute. We're gonna see what happens. Here is just a book page. Let me zoomy a little bit here. So here's our book page. Okay, see the difference? Carefully set that down. I bet these would be pretty much the same. I don't have a whole lot of room here. I'm running out of room. So here we go with a super, super old dictionary page. Like, really? Okay, it's kind of floppy, so here, and then let's let that sit for a minute. Inkjet. Whoa. See? Carefully, carefully, carefully. Here's inkjet on parchment. Probably should cut this apart because this is just too unwieldy to have two of these labels. Oh, here is so wax, no wax. And then here is some marbled paper. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And let's see if you can see how it beads up here, and then over here it's just kind of a pool of pooly stuff. All right. So already we're starting to get some effects from the places that haven't been waxed. So like this was just our regular scrapbook paper, and you can see, if you see, let me move this aside. I will sop this up. So do you see where it has soaked into the paper and it's starting to wrinkle right there? See that? But I can soak this up, like the water just comes right off of it. See that? No damage. But there's where it sat on the regular side, and then no damage on that side. Here is the book page, and you can see the water has soaked in here, but on this side it has still beaded up. Soak that up. And see the damage, the wrinkled, but on this, no wrinkle. Here is the old dictionary page. So you can see where it's soaked in very easily, but on the other side, it's all beaded up. No damage to the waxed petroleum jelly side, but it is soaked in and it's wrinkling this side. Here is our inkjet on parchment. And actually not too horribly bad. It did bead up on the not waxed side, but it's smearing it's smearing the ink, and it's bringing up, you see how, sorry, I don't know if you can see where it smeared the ink right there. But on this side, just wipe that off. No damage, no smearing. Here is where I had put it on. This is not photo paper, it's presentation paper, like what that you can use for like brochures. And so this is what the water did, just soaked right in. But do you see where it's beaded up on this side? I'm just gonna let that drip off. And no damage. And here is our hand marbled paper, and it's really hard to see. Let's see if it brings up any paint. These are actually pretty darn sturdy. The hand marble, they're sturdier than you'd think. So a little bit of paint is coming up. But over here on the wax side, pretty good. I don't see anything, no damage. Okay, so pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, pretty cool. Just don't forget the steps. You know, rub it in with a warm finger with a glove on, and give it a few minutes to the wax will the warmth from your fingers will help melt the wax and smooth it all together into your surface. And then when you go back with a dry, clean paper toweling and you just buff it, then that's what kind of brings out the sheen and makes it smooth. And yeah. So anyway, kind of cool. Test it out. Don't just go slopping it on something that you love. Test it out, please, first on a scrap. Please, please, please. I don't want you coming back saying, I ruined my blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. I want you to test it out first. So this is also that label. Here's that label. You see how it's already soaking in there? But the other side's all beaded. Ooh. It's even sticking to it. Oh, nope, there it dripped off. So this is what happened to this one. So do you see how the water damaged this side, but this side remains undamaged? And then I didn't do a good side and a bad side on this one, but here is all three inks. The Distress Oxide, the regular, it's a Ranger all-purpose stamping ink pad, and then the StazOn. None of them smeared when I put the stuff on. And it's all beaded up, the water, and it just kind of runs right off. Okay? All right, kids. So some things you can do with this, because you're thinking, okay, Nick, that's just all well and good, but the paste finishing wax kind of smells chemical-y. Well, Donna, you complainer. I have some essential oil here. This is Bulgarian lavender, which is one of my all-time favorites. And if you're going to use any kind of fragrance, make sure that if you're selling your item to let people know, because there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people who are sensitive to even essential oils. So you have to put that on the label. Oh, it smells so good. I'm going to just do one little drop because you don't need much. You can also use fragrance oils, which is what they use in, perfumes and that kind of thing. Just make sure it's in an oil form and not in a water-based form. It has to be an oil form. So just test it out and put a few drops of stuff in and stir it up and see if you like the smell of it. Because it just kind of reminds me, remember back in the day, when we had those little solid perfumes, and you carry them around with you, and yeah, that's what it reminds me of. And then you may say, Nick, that's great, but what if I want my stuff to look like a fairy princess barfed all over it? Okay, Donna. If that is your aim, well, I have a solution for you. So this is the exact same stuff that I added some gold mica and a little bit of the paste, the metallic paste wax, okay? So I added, I just kept adding it until I liked what it looked like. So don't ask me for the recipe. I don't know, Donna. You're just gonna have to figure it out for yourself. Okay, here is a photograph that I printed out using my inkjet printer, and it's kind of dark. So let's try it out on this guy. So I'm gonna paint it over here on this side. Okay, I don't have my glove on me, so I'm sorry. I will go wash my hands. I will not get cancer, I promise. I'm gonna rub that in and let that sit for just a minute. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Okay, I'm back. And just kind of smooshy, smooshy, roly, roly, buffy, buffy. All right, so can you see the golden sheen? It's kind of cool. It's very subtle, but it really catches in the light. It's hard to get on camera, but it really, really catches in the light if you can see a little bit of that sheen. So it just adds a little bit of a hint of this golden kind of a glow. And of course they have silver and copper, and you can even buy different kinds of glitter, like the micro glitter powders. And you'd have to use a boatload to get it, this pigmented, but it mutes the picture. As you can see, it muted it, right? So it kind of makes it look a little foggy, hazy almost, so a little maybe ethereal, if I can use that word. And even though it looks like your fairy godmother hocked a loogie all over your stuff, the water just drips off. So there you go, Donna. Jeez. Okay. So, as you can probably imagine, and I even hear your wheels turning. I can hear them from here. Okay, so that's basically the premise of the Booksmith preserving paste. The other companies that make this finishing wax also make like an antiquing wax, so you can get it in has like walnut stain or something in it, and if you use that kind of stuff, the paste, the paste finishing wax that's already got some tint to it, then it will add a little bit of a tint, of course. Scoot back out here. It'll add a little bit of like a glaze, an antiquing to whatever you put it on. So whether you are like Donna and you want, fairy godmother glitter, or you're, somebody else and you want it to look antique-y, go get the finishing wax that has the color to it. Yeah. Can you tint it? Yes, you can. I tried with like alcohol inks, and it takes a buttload to make a difference. So these can be kind of expensive, so try out some other pigments that maybe you have laying around. Just nothing that is water-based, because the water will damage your paper. Whatever you're putting this on, the water will damage it, and that's what you don't want. So don't use that. I guess that's it. I'm going to show you a little snippet of the conservatory so you can see how the Booksmith Conservatory is coming along. And I have a super cool DIY project coming up very soon. I just got to finish that up and get it filmed. And I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little messy project today, and I will see you guys really soon. I've got some design team work that I am working on for the graphics fairy, and that's going to be coming up fairly quickly by the first week of September. And then of course always there's other stuff that comes up. I've already got a pile of books I'm working on, so that'll be fun. All right guys, I will catch you really soon. Big hugs from Nick, and take care. Bye guys.